Take 6. Seriously. This is episode 4, a cursed episode. I have been trying to crack this nut, and I am just, I'm not getting anywhere. This is like the third day I've been trying to record this. Hopefully this will be the recording that cracks the nut. And I'm just going to very briefly explain what I had been doing, why it hasn't been working out, because I think there might be something to learn from this experience, not just for myself, but for other people who are solo playing. What has happened was I left episode 3 with Finnulf going off to rescue Borin. And that's all fine. That's all well and good. He passed his stealth roll with a very good roll. Also well and good. But we left it there. And I've been trying to think about how to create an interesting adventure, or an interesting episode, if you will, from that point forward. And this is where I have been struggling, because at first I recorded something which was a lot of waffle for more than 20 minutes, threw that out to one side. Then I started approaching it with having rescued Borin, trying to continue with the adventure side when they're both basically half dead. And that kind of hadn't really worked out, because it's like you don't get very far in an adventure site when you're basically on death's door, right? So none of that really made sense. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be approaching this from the perspective of Finnulf has recovered some of his endurance, but he is still wounded. He still has 8 days on his clock to no longer be wounded. And Borin, unbeknownst to Finnulf, Borin has 1 endurance point left, is very, very close to death, and has been tortured for information by his captors. So it makes no sense, if Finnulf is able to rescue Borin, for the two of them to somehow try and continue deeper into this adventure site. So although it's probably not the most exciting YouTube content, what I'm going to be doing with this episode is the plan is for Finnulf to find Borin and get the hell out of Dodge. We're going to be trying to get back to the closest place of civilization, which is Mickle Delving in the Shire, and hope to ride the horse and pony that they have hard to get back there. So that's the approach. And the reason I kind of mentioned these failed attempts is because I had been trying to approach this as an adventure site I really wanted to play, and was kind of ignoring the fact, or trying to gloss over, trying to think of ways to put the game into sort of easy mode to try and make myself experience the adventure site. This is the adventure site at the back of the core rulebook, by the way. And I had spent a lot of time prepping this in Foundry, like copying and pasting entries without trying to read them very much into journals in Foundry, so that I could use them in a sort of dynamic way. And because I'd done a lot of this prep, and I really wanted to experience this adventure site, I was kind of in my head trying to think about how I could sort of force that to happen. And in reality, as I've said, it just makes no sense. That's why I've been struggling with this, and that's why I'm not going to be doing it now. So that's my little introduction. That's what's happened. And my plan, as I've said, is to basically try and, find Borin, rescue him, and get over to the Shire. Once we get to the Shire, the plan is then to recover from our wounds, and that will be a fellowship phase. So we've kind of haven't really done a proper adventure, and we're going to be going straight into a fellowship phase to recover. That's actually okay, because Strider mode also has these questions, these prompts that you ask yourself to see how many adventure points and experience points you get. And as a result of not really doing much in the way of adventure, I'm not going to be earning much experience from this endeavor. We'll get there, assuming we survive the rescue attempt, right? So let's jump into this. Okay, the first thing to do is to ask the oracle, or ask the telling table, whether Boren talked when he was being questioned by his captors. As I said at the end of the last, or in the middle of the last episode, Boren was going to be questioned to find out if he was there alone, if other people were with him, etc. So I need to make a roll for Boren to see if he talked. Now there's a couple of different ways we could handle this. One is I could just do a simple question on the telling table and ask it a yes or no question. The question being, probably you have to frame it in a positive way for the player heroes. So I would frame it in the way of saying, was Boren able to keep his mouth shut? Was he able to withstand the interrogation? Another way to do it is to actually make some sort of an attribute check or a skill test to do with his sort of willpower. And if we jump over to Foundry, well, the first things you'll notice is that I'm playing around with the format a little bit differently. So rather than having my video taking up a big section on the side, I've got this little window here down in the corner, as you can see down here. And I can actually have the full Foundry view up, which I think is probably a little bit better. Anyway, by the by, but I would love to hear in the comments if you think you find this better or worse, if you'd rather see more of my face when we've got the Foundry view, or alternatively, maybe just cut my face out entirely and just have Foundry here. You can do that as well. So this is kind of a learning process for me a little bit. Anyway, so the other thing we can do, if I open up Boren's sheet here, is look at the skills. And there aren't any skills really that have to do with willpower or courage or that sort of thing. However, we have these heroic stature attributes over here, or characteristics, whatever you want to call them. And Valor is very much all about courage. And Boren has a 2 in Valor. Arguably, he probably could have started him with more, but I didn't want to really make the game too easy if I was going to end up using him. In hindsight, yeah, whatever. Probably would have been better to give him a few more points in these. But it doesn't matter. He's got 2 in Valor, so I'm going to be making a Valor roll to see whether he's able to keep his mouth shut. Now, normally the way this would work is it's a target number 16. It's based on heart. Boren, unfortunately, only has a 2 in heart, which makes his target number quite high. He's all about the strength. So he gets to roll one dice for that. One feat die. He gets 2 success dice. The success dice are due to his Valor rating. And because he's weary, any 1s, 2s, or 3s rolled are not going to count. So, here's where I'm going to be doing a little bit of house ruling to make things a little bit easier on myself. I think Boren probably is quite a courageous dwarf anyway. So I'm kind of bending the rules slightly here. And I'm going to look at his distinctive feature, wary. You're always mindful of your surroundings and observant of the speech and behavior of strangers. He's also proud, which means you hold your feats and achievements in high esteem. And I just think that those two kind of go together quite nicely to think, because he's a proud dwarf and he's wary, he's going to be, I mean, he's certainly not going to crack on the first day, right? So one way we could handle this is we could make a Valor roll. We could add hope and make it inspired because of the distinctive feature. Now, the reason I'm saying I'm twisting the rules here is that using a distinctive feature to be inspired when spending hope is only supposed to happen on skill rolls. And this is not a skill roll. This is a Valor roll. So technically breaking the rules or stretching the rules a bit, but I think that it kind of works here because I'm treating this almost as a skill roll in the context. So I could do it like this, and that way I'm rolling 4 dice. And it kind of narratively might make sense that because he's weary, half of the success die values would be ignored. The easier way to do this would be to simply click on the telling table and to say, what are the chances that he's going to keep his mouth shut? And it's either likely or certain, especially on the first day. And it might be something like, for every additional day that he's questioned, the chances go down, right? Because he's more and more likely to talk the more and more he gets kind of interrogated, tortured. But I think I like the idea of using this method here because I'm also spending hope. That means his hope is going to be decreasing as time wears on as well. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this method here. I'm going to click the roll and see what we get. Oh my god! This is a cursed. This is really a cursed actual play. My god. Borin has rolled another Eye of Sauron. So we're going to roll with it. We're going to roll the punches. I mean, I'm getting punched pretty badly here. Eye Awareness goes up to 7. Okay. I have written a little flowchart of... You probably can't see that with the lighting, and you probably can't anyway. I've written a little flowchart just as prep for this to think, you know, based on this roll, what would a success and what would a failure look like? And I even thought about what if I rolled an Eye of Sauron or a Gandalf rune. What does that mean? So I've actually... He has talked, and because of the Eye of Sauron, he's basically told them exactly, you know, exactly what's happening. And that is that there's me, just me, and where they left me. Now, this could potentially work in their favor, but like in my favor, because I've already passed my success test, they're expecting me to be waiting in this camp. But that does mean the camp is going to be, you know, set upon, or I'm probably crossing them, you know, as I'm coming to rescue Borin, as they're going, and maybe like 4 or 5 of them are going to where I'm supposed to be resting to try and grab me. It does mean they're gonna realize that I'm not there. They're probably gonna come rushing back, so I probably won't have a lot of time with Borin to try and get away. And it does mean that they're gonna find the horse and pony, which is not great. But I didn't take off my mail shirt in the end. I've kept that on. So really, the horse and the pony are going to be gone, which isn't great. But yeah, let's continue with this, shall we? Oh my god. Yes. So what it means is, because he talked. Now this adventure scenario does say, or this adventure site does say, that there should be one bandit at the bandit camp for every player hero. Now, if Borin had kept his mouth shut, there might have only just been one in total, like skeleton crew, right? But because he did talk, they know that there's somebody else out there. They're gonna have more guards here. That's the way I've interpreted this role, and they're expecting potentially someone to come for help. Although initially they're not expecting, so they might not be on their guard straight away because they've sent a bunch of guys to where they think I am. Oh, he's wounded. Perfect. Let's go grab him. But they've also beefed up their presence here. So I've made it so that there are 3 additional guards on top of the 1. So basically 2 guards for every player hero, and counting both Finolf and Borin as a player hero. So there are 4 guards at this bandit camp. And I'm going to jump over to this scene here. If I scroll out a bit, you can kind of see what it looks like. There's a cave entrance that goes into some place. There is a rickety wooden bridge that crosses a ravine. Then, as you can see at the end, as I come out from on this tunnel where the tunnel entrance is, there are these vines that you can kind of climb up the side to get to a tree, and then this is the bandit camp. So you kind of have to imagine that there's some tents. Maybe just inside the cave there's a small what do you call it in a cave? A cavern, I guess. A small cavern where maybe one person sleeps or something, and they keep some of their supplies in there just in case it rains or something. And there's a deeper tunnel that goes somewhere else inside, which I'm not going to be exploring, as I've said. So I think with my earlier stealth roll, where I got that extra 6, I think it's fair to say I have made it this far, right? I've made it to the tunnel. I've made it past the other 4 or 5. That's what that extra 6 can be for, right? So I've spent that. And I'm basically now looking up. I'm coming out into this ravine. I'm looking up, and I can see that there's a way to climb up these vines, and that people have done it. Maybe they've chiseled some kind of handholds and things to make it easier to climb up here. I'm going to bring 4 of these guards over. So I'm going to have 2 basically here. We're going to have, well, one of these is going to be the main guy. We're going to have one guy kind of posted here. And the last one is going to be, maybe there's another place back over here, or maybe over on this side here. So one's meant to be watching the bridge. One's meant to be over here. We'll say one's over this side at the top here. So it's just kind of assuming there's some different routes. And one of the robbers is here, meant to be looking after Borin. And Sabian is a named NPC. We're just going to keep him off to the side here for now. So things aren't looking great. I do see that there's a guy there because, you know, I've done a really good stealth roll. But I want to make a single stealth roll to basically see if I can get across the bridge without being spotted. Now I'm going to be timing it to wait until this guy is kind of like, you know, goes off for a pee maybe on this bush or something. He's not going to be watching this like a hawk constantly. Also, I've arrived at nighttime, so that's going to work in my favor a little bit as well. And yeah, I just want to be timing this in a way. So if you've ever played a stealth kind of video game like, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid or something like that, you know, guards, they walk around, they move their heads from side to side. There's a cone of vision, right? I wait for the cone of vision to move away from where I am to somewhere else, and then I'm going to scoot across this bridge as quietly as possible. So the way to do this is I'm going to make another stealth roll, but I only want to make one stealth roll to cover whether I can basically get over and past this brigand, this guard here, and get over effectively to where Borin is. So get past this highway robber too. And to do that, I'm going to make a stealth roll. I'm going to be using burglary, which is all about getting access to protected areas, right? As an inspired, to make my roll inspired. So clicking on stealth, spending a point of hope, making it inspired. However, I'm also going to say that because there are so many guards here, I'm going to have a -2 penalty dice. So it's actually taking away the hope and the inspired. So I'm actually still spending that because it means I'm still rolling 3 success dice. So really, that's kind of important. Also, this is a favored roll. So as you can see here, stealth is one of my favored rolls. So I get to roll 2 feat dice and keep the best. So, and remember I'm weary. So any 1s, 2s, or 3s rolled are going to be canceled off. So there is I think the odds are pretty bad here with me passing this. But we're going to try it anyway and see if I get spotted. I need some luck. I'm due some luck. That's a failure. I mean, the best I rolled there, I rolled a 6, and out of the 3 dice, only one of them counted, and it was a 4. And I needed a 14. So, yeah. I get spotted. We'll say I make it... Let's ask the telling table. Did I make it past the first guard? Let's make it 50-50. Yes, I made it past the first guard. So I came around here. Okay, so he was off, cone of visioning off this direction. I managed to sneak up, climb up, waited again until his cone of vision was back there again as he's pacing. You know, I've played the Commandos series of video games as well. This guy, I'm keeping an eye on him and his cone of vision. He comes down here. So I'm waiting until these guys kind of have their backs turned to me. I'm a burglar. This is like what I'm trained to do, right? And then I kind of make my way down here. What I don't realize is that this highway robber is basically in the camp as well. Maybe there are a couple of tents that aren't on the battle map here. We'll say that that's the case. There are some tents here. And when I make my way over, and I do find Borin, I guess, I think just to make this a little bit more interesting, I find Borin pretty quickly. But as soon as I start talking to him, this guy hears my voice. And he's going to come out, and he's going to jump me. Oh, this is terrible. But it is what it is. I made it past the first guard. I only wanted to make a single stealth roll. So I'm right in the heart of the enemy's territory when this guy sneaks up on me. And I guess I'm going to make an awareness roll to see if I can detect him. I'm going to make a straight up awareness roll. I'm not spending any hope or anything on this. Just going to be rolling it like this. It is a favored roll of mine, so that's good. But I'm not going to spend hope or inspired. I'm not going to put any penalties or anything on it. So we're just going to make a straight up roll if I detect him. I got a Gandalf rune. Okay, so I rolled terribly, but I got a Gandalf rune. So I notice him creeping up on me. That means I'm going to say that gives me 1 moment to act, and I'm expecting trouble, So I can see him coming up, maybe with like some sort of a club or something, to like getting ready to bludgeon me. And I spin around, and I'm going to just basically try and wallop him, hoping for some kind of magical success here, some sort of Gandalf rune to kind of take him out before he can take me out. But I do know the stats on these highway robbers, and they're, yeah, they're better than the other ones. So I kind of need, he only has a might of 1, which means if I can get 1 wound on him, he's down. So that's what I need to do, is I need to basically have a piercing blow. I don't know how this is going to happen. But Balin's Counsel, I can spend Fellowship Point to make a combat roll favored. So this is what we're going to do. I spin around with my sword. I swing at him. We're doing this kind of narratively. I don't want to make this go into like a full combat thing, because this is basically, if I fail here, I'm just going to say that I'm captured. And then we'll figure out something else. I mean, I might be creating another player hero for episode 5. I've had some suggestions in some of my prep series. We'll get there. Sorry, I'm running ahead of myself. I have not given up hope yet. This might work out, right? So let's click swords. I'm going to make it favored. Right? So I'm giving it a favored one because of Balin's the Balin's favor. Sorry, Balin's Counsel. This is not a skill test, so I'm not able to spend hope or get inspired on it from a skill. Sorry, from a distinctive feature. Okay, so I have checked the rules, and it says that hope can be spent on any die roll. So I can't get inspired from a distinctive feature because those are only used for skills, but I can actually spend a point of hope because I really hope to get this guy. And support from a companion. I mean, I'm really clutching at straws here if I was to click that. But maybe he tipped me off that he was... I mean, that probably should have been for my awareness roll rather than my combat roll. Yeah, I think that's really... Yeah, I'm not going to do it. So I'm giving myself 1 additional die here. I'm going to make the roll and hope for the best. Should be rolling a second feat. No, that works. Favored, I click on it. Okay, this should work. This should roll 2. And really, I need to roll a 10. I rolled a 10. Okay. Why is it not showing anything else? Hold on. Rolled a 15 against a 13 target number. With a 10, I should be able to make a piercing blow. But it's because I'm not in combat right now. If I was in combat, it would have targeted this guy. It would have said, you've made a piercing blow, now do the rest. It does it automatically, but I would have to have been in combat mode here in Foundry. I would have had to have had his token selected and as my target, and then it would have been coming up. So if we open up the rules here very quickly, I think I've got it in the GM table. So let me just open that very quickly. Under combat. And it's under here for piercing blow. When the feat die rolls a 10 on a successful attack, which I have done, the target must succeed in making a protection test to avoid a wound. Adversaries are killed outright when wounded. Those with might of 2 or greater require that many wounds to kill. Again, he only has one might of 1. So he has to make a protection test. That's his armor, basically. So we're going to click on this guy. We're going to click on his armor like this. He's making a roll with 2 success dice and a feat die. Target number is not 14. It's my weapon. It's my weapon's injury rating, which is 16. So he's got to beat a 16 with this target number. So apologies, it's going a bit quick here. Hit me in the comments if you want to break that down a little bit more. But basically, this is him trying to protect himself. The robber sneaking up to me, up on me, is trying to roll to not get a wound here. And I got lucky. Man, I got lucky. I got a Gandalf rune. So I have actually hit him. It's just a case of whether my piercing blow is actually going to wound him and take him out straight away. Here we go. This guy has to fail. Oh, he fails. He fails. He takes a wound. It doesn't matter what kind of wound. Normally you could roll the wound to see what kind of wound it is. But it doesn't matter because adversaries with a might of 1, they're just out. So this guy's dead. I've killed this guy. And I think there's a status effect that has like a skull on it. Yeah. All right, we're gonna make him like kind of gray as well. So I have spun around. He was trying to creep up on me silently without calling the alarm for whatever reason. And I've spun around and like I've killed him. I think I'm using a sword, right? I'm going straight for the element of surprise, and I'm desperate. So I managed to get him. Maybe I skewer him right in the center mass or something, right? The guy's dead. I grab him very quickly before he falls, and I pull him into the tent where Borin is. Borin is going to be trussed up. He's going to be bloody. He's told everything. He's probably ashamed of himself when he sees me. But that's okay. I'm just happy to have found him. I'm happy to not have been captured myself. I quickly cut his bonds, and I whisper in his ear, "We'll talk later. We have to get out of here." And then, I guess, we need to get out. So I'm going to poke my head out of the tent, wait until both of these two here. So this guy's going back to look over the edge. This guy's looking this way. I kind of killed this guy. It looked like he was about ready to attack me with his club back, but I'm not sure if I should give myself a point of shadow for that, because that wasn't kind of like an assassination. And these people are humans, right? They're not like monsters. If I kill them in kind of cold blood, I should be getting a shadow point. I think that guy technically wasn't, because he was clearly going to be attacking me. But if I kill this guy, which is kind of what I'm thinking I might do, push him over the edge of the ravine, then I certainly would be getting a point of shadow for that. But it might be our only way to get out of here without a hue and cry going up. Yeah, I'm going to make another stealth roll. And more eyes make for lighter work. Easier stealthing. I'm going to give myself support for my companion. I'm going to give myself a point of hope. I'm going to inspire it again. And I'm going to... That's it. I think that's enough. I'm giving myself an extra 3. Yeah, we're going to leave it there. I'm not going to take any penalty dice here because they're not expecting me to be behind them. They're all looking out somewhere else. It could even say that it gives me a bonus, and I will give myself a bonus because, you know, if you've played these video games where, you know, if you get behind the enemy lines, it's a lot easier because they tend to be, you know, keeping guard and looking out. I don't know, I'm comparing to video games, but just making me think of like Commandos, for example. Anyway, or Desperados, if this is a more recent game. Anyway, I'm going to give myself a bonus die because I'm behind them now. It should be easier to creep up on them. Plus my companion, he's going to be keeping an eye on the other one for me. Yeah. Again, I'm stacking things really heavily in my favor. I'm aware of that. But what I'm rolling here is to see if I can sneak up on this guy who's near the, you know, the one I'd highlighted before. Let's see if he spots me or not. Okay, I've definitely succeeded at that. Great success. Yeah. So that's fine. I mean, I got a 26 on that, which is more than enough. I got a 6 as well. So I absolutely have no problem sneaking up on this guy, the two of us. And Borin, before I can kind of, maybe say before I can do anything, Borin in his revenge pulls his dagger out and cuts the guy's throat before he can, so he can't actually scream, and then pushes him over the edge. So quite brutal. I'm going to be definitely giving him a point of shadow for this. Let's open up Borin's sheet. Give him a point of shadow. Temporary shadow goes up 1. Yeah, for committing murder. And then with that really good success, I'm just going to say we managed to very slowly make our way down, because this guy's keeping watch somewhere else. This guy's keeping watch over there. And we're going to try and basically make our escape. So I'm going to go back to the hex map. And I think I'm going to just basically... I think... So, first of all, I guess I need to move myself onto the tower itself, which is move me kind of... Oh, God. There we go. Hold shift down and you don't snap to the hex grid. So I'm at the tower. We're at the tower, and we're gonna end the session with basically just narrating it, getting back to Mickle Delving, and to do that, I feel like there should be some element of a luck roll, but we're taking our time. We're creeping past the people. We're not making our way back to the horses because we suspect that they're going to be stolen by the band. They're going to be expecting us to have come back, or they're going to be expecting me to have gone to rescue Bourne. It's pretty obvious I left the horse behind. I'm not there. I'm attempting a rescue. They're going to be coming back very, very quickly. In fact, they might not even have taken the horses. They might have killed the horses. We're not going to risk it. We're not going to try and risk that. So we're going to go off to the side, and we're going to try and make our way as stealthily as we can away from this camp. It's going to be tricky because they're going to raise a hue and cry when they notice 2 of their guys dead. And they're going to be basically starting a search perimeter looking for us. But in the interest of ending the spell of bad luck and getting us back to safety, I'm just going to give myself every advantage here possible and say, with that 6 on the stealth roll, that allows us to get away. Why not? I can do what I want. It's my game. Sue me. So that's what we do. We manage to slowly creep our way past the bandits, slip through their very, haphazard net of searching bandits, and we eventually make our way to Mickle Delving. Now, you might be wondering why I'm not making the same sort of travel rolls and consulting for journey events and that sort of thing. That's because in the One Ring, you don't have to. In fact, it's the default is that when you are traveling, on a return journey, you don't actually have to make any rolls. You can take your time to make your way back, etc. So that's what we're going to do here. You can actually, if you do want to slow down and you do want to have it, if you're escorting somebody, for example, which I kind of am, I'm escorting my wounded companion, then you can do it the same way and make these rolls and the rest of it. But I want to try and end this. I want to try and bring to a close this series of bad luck and make our way to Mickle Delving. So before I end it, the one thing I did want to say was I will have been asking Boren what he discovered, if he discovered anything while he was in the bandit camp. And Bourne is actually going to say that he has found something out. He found the messenger. And the messenger, I was expecting maybe the messenger to be dead or something, or to be captured also in another tent or something, but there was no messenger like that. He tells me that there was a man questioning him. He had a strange accent for a human, and he thinks he came from down south somewhere. And he doesn't know the name of this man, but he did reveal that Boren told them during the course of being tortured why they were there, to rescue the messenger. And this guy, in his kind of arrogance, laughed and told him that he had found the messenger he was seeking, meaning himself. So the person in charge of these bandits is actually the messenger that had gone missing. So it probably staged his kidnapping. So the plot thickens. We don't know why or anything like that, but we're making our way to Mickle Delving. We're going to raise the hue and cry with the sheriffs there. Hopefully word will get round to some rangers. In fact, we can ask the telling table, did we encounter any rangers kind of on their patrols around the edge of the Shire? And there are quite a few of them around at this time, so it probably is likely that we'll come across one. So let's roll likely. Check what it says in chat. Yes, we did. So we come across a ranger. I'm just going to do this very quickly, narratively. We come across a ranger. We tell them what we've discovered. We tell them that tower over there is crawling with bandits. And for some reason, the rangers didn't know this. But he thanks us for the information, and he's going to go tell more of his people about this problem, and they're going to see about what they can do to deal with it. And maybe he patches up our wounds a little bit, gives us some herbs or something to kind of ease our way into the Shire. So that's kind of where we leave it. We make it to Mickle Delving. The rules also say as soon as you make it back to sort of civilization, you can also make your way to any other place you've visited previously. You don't, like, I can basically say now, okay, we made our way to Mickle Delving. We've alerted the sheriffs. We've spent a couple of days just to get a bit of our strength back. We've eaten some nice, pasties or some pies or something, and then we make our way back to Bree. And that's where we're going to spend our fellowship phase, back in Bree. I'll discover exactly. Well, in fact, I'll start the next session, I think, with the fellowship phase. I'll walk through the steps of it. I'll try and do it fairly quickly as well. The steps of the fellowship phase, assigning the adventure and experience points from Strider mode. In fact, I actually need to do that now, and I think I spend them during fellowship phase. So, if I look at the Strider mode rules very quickly, I'm going to go through the questions and see how many of these points I get. Did I accept a mission from a patron? This wasn't really a mission from my patron, I don't think. So no, I'm going to say no. Did I achieve a notable personal goal? Not really. Did I complete a patron's mission? No. Did I complete a meaningful journey? I completed a journey. I got to the end of my journey, sort of. I mean, I got a grievous wound at the end of my journey. Did I complete it? I mean, yeah. I went there and I came back. There we go. I completed a meaningful journey. It's meaningful because I learned a lot about myself. So I'm going to get 2 skill points there. So 2 skill points. I'm going to count on 2 different hands. Did I face a noteworthy encounter during a journey? That's a specific type of encounter. I did not encounter one, no. Did I reveal a significant location or discovery? Yes, I did. This tower. 1 adventure point. Did I overcome a tricky obstacle? I would say I definitely overcame a tricky obstacle in that I actually went to rescue Borin and managed to get him out again. So yes, I did. So that's 3 skill points. Did I participate in the council? No. Did I survive a dangerous combat? Sort of at the end there. I think that's stretching it a bit. It was kind of combat, even though it was narrative. I'm going to say, yeah, I did. So an adventure point. And did I face the Revelation episode? No, I didn't. That's a specific type of thing for when the eye awareness goes up. No. It's something else. Anyway, there was no Revelation episode. So I've got 2 adventure points and 3 skill points. So I'll quickly add those to my character before I forget. And that will be me. So if you're familiar with the rules for the One Ring, if you're familiar with how fellowship phases work, if you have any suggestions on things that I could do during the fellowship phase, some of the undertakings I might be taking, I'll be doing 2 undertakings, by the way, to make that very clear up front. I'll explain why in the next episode. But suggestions for those 2 undertakings, maybe meeting with my patron, maybe it's Balin, maybe Gandalf is coming into play, maybe I made a stop in Hobbiton and had a chat with Bilbo. Or Bilbo's in Bree, or Bilbo was in Mickle Delving. I don't know. What are some suggestions you might have for undertakings I might take on this fellowship? Or more specifically, so the 2 I'm thinking of taking are meeting a patron and gathering rumors. What are some rumors I could gather? Specifically, what I would like to do is I'd like to try and start making my way down to Tharbad to the south. So maybe there's some rumors that can kind of be coming up the way from Tharbad that might make me wanting to go down there. The tower that we've just dealt with is too dangerous for the 2 of us right now. I'm thinking that Borin is probably going to stay with me for a little bit just because of how things went. I'll probably promise him more treasure if he stays with me anyway, because I'm well off. And yeah, I see he has potential that was just way too dangerous for the 2 of us. So I'm thinking that the Rangers are probably going to deal with the threat of the bandits. Maybe not the tower itself. So maybe we can come back to the tower later where there are no bandits there and see what's going on with that tower. But I'm thinking the Rangers are actually going to clear out the bandit threat themselves over the course of the next sort of number of weeks. So I want to head to Tharbad. So I'd love to hear in the comments suggestions you might have for rumors I could hear while we're on a fellowship phase. Meeting with my patron, maybe I'm getting a new patron, maybe Gandalf is coming in, maybe one of the, Aragorn's mother comes to meet me, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. maybe a different patron touches base with us in the sort of weeks that we're recovering from this journey. And let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear them. Just drop them in the comments or reach out to me on Discord. Links are all in the description below. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. I'm glad I was able to break the curse of not being able to record this episode for many, many days. I'm going to stick with this one. If you liked the episode, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already and you like the channel, hit subscribe, as both of those things are very motivating for me and they help the channel to grow. Thanks so much and catch you next time. Cheers.